Trustless Degens. It's me here, your host Smurf, as well as our other roundabout host. We got Bitfiend with us today. Uh, the Infinite, our resident normie. That's right. That
Yay!
title's not going away. I needed like
I
something
know.
like a drop down for you or something, and just so that it makes sense. And then Bullish Satoshi here.
What's going on,
It's
y'all?
usually by my side with these. I
Red
thank
Bull.
you all.
We are not sponsored by Red Bull,
You're-
but
you're not
Red Bull
wrecked
is
anymore?
Satoshi.
You're
He's not
right.
wrecked anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, you see,
You're not
he's
wrecked,
Bullish
you're back.
Satoshi.
No, I'm
You're
bullish
back on
now.
the bullish. All right. Welcome aboard, buddy. I never stopped.
Yeah, you can be like Bitfiend. Don't jump out early and all this stuff. Be like Bitfiend.
Sometimes you gotta
You gotta
change your
take
bias,
profits.
man.
You gotta take your profits, but you
Yeah,
know.
you gotta know
So-
when to sell and when to buy.
All right, so first question to all the hosts here today. We got to start this off the way we like to do, which is just going around and find out how are you guys feeling about the market lately. And so this is, of course, the crypto market, but I guess in general markets. You know, how are you feeling about the market lately? Try to keep it brief, guys. We're gonna go around. It's a 30-second timer. We're gonna start with our resident normie.
There you go.
I like it.
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Wow, you like got normie
Ignore
clan.
me. Yeah. ignore me.
Wow,
Yeah.
competing.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm still kind of bearish, although, like, everybody's doing good, so it's just like, but that's just where I'm at. So there we go. We'll move on.
All right. Infinite's bearish. Let's go with Bitfiend. How you feeling?
The bull, baby. I gotta say, I'm real bullish. I never stopped being bullish. Like I said. Now the funny thing is, yesterday I was messing around with some AI shit, and I hypothetically tricked it into giving me some price predictions. The price predictions were not accurate, but the bullish pattern is. And I gotta say, it literally said it was gonna pop off today. Told me last
Wow.
night it was gonna pop off today, and I didn't believe it. So like the fact that I see it jump, but I also think that we're not gonna see like a bull, like a major bull right now. I think we're just kind of going sideways.
Yeah.
No real price discovery for a while.
See, yeah, that's what it feels like for me. I'll go now, I guess. I feel like I'm feeling kind of bullish. But at the same time, I was a mini bear in a bull trend. It's hard to disrespect the bull trend right now. It's been an obvious bull trend. And as the title of today's video explains, narratives have been winning kind of big lately. Like, you got the narratives. You know what the narratives are in the market. I don't know how you losing right now. I'm gonna hand it to Satoshi.
Feeling pretty bullish. I mean, especially after today. Now, right after last week's show, I was not feeling bullish at all. Like, I was like, I fucked up. Like, we're gonna have to go back and clip the last. Well, I think what I said last episode about the rumor about the stables, but we kind of brushed that off. I don't think Bitcoin cared about it very much. So, as long as Bitcoin doesn't care, I don't care.
That's a way to be. That's a winning way. I think so. All right. Well, thank you guys all for your opinions on the market. The market's been interesting lately. I'm actually gonna pull it up for us and check out the market today. See how the market's been doing. Oh, and I should stop for a moment. I feel like normally we say this, but for anybody that's like your first time watching this show or listening, this is the podcast or show where we talk about all things blockchain, Web3, crypto, macro. Basically, if it has something to do with making monies in the market, then might just cover that. Now we do have a bias on crypto. This is a crypto first podcast, and so if you're talking shady, we probably just got a different opinion than you. But come talk. Wouldn't necessarily be totally against it, but whatever. Your gains will do the talking for you. All right, I think I got this window now. I thought I had it. There you go. Must have put it at the top. There it is. All right. So, yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, Bitcoin is up 7.5% on the day, or no, the week, excuse me, 11% on the day. When we go back to like last week, I'm like, yeah, it's like, are we above in Bitcoin the previous high from last week? Let me look at this real quick, actually.
Pretty sure we are.
Because I'm like, it was, we got like 23, 24. Yeah, let me expand this to like 14 days. Like, right? Yeah, we kind of pooing on it right now. They look ridiculous. Yeah, so the market has been crazy and it dipped back, and that's the thing. Like, this is the thing about crypto too. Is crypto is like really volatile, and it'll still be moving in a direction, but it's super volatile, right? Like, we get these big swings, which is why some traders really like it, and others just get stomped out. Ethereum also moving 9.3% today, a 2.9 in the week. Tether, the unbothered stable coin of the week. I get something for Tether. I feel like people still hate it, but interesting. Same for USDC. I saw a comparison where people were saying that if you're a bald crypto CEO, then they're not messing with your coin because you're similar enough to Gensler. And I was like, oh, this is interesting because, the Kraken dude has a lot of hair. Cardano up 6.8%. It's pretty much everybody's up today. It's just how much are they up? 4.3% in the week. Because everything got turned around by today. Dogecoin up 8.1%. Excuse me, except for Dogecoin, still negative. That's sad. I guess BNB was also down. Polygon having a field day. Remember we were talking about Polygon? I was talking about like being like, is it a good thing I bought it like twice since we talked about it that first time? We talking about like missing a little bit. Still feel underexposed to Polygon, but it's up to $1.35. Be moving 7.8. It was about, we were talking about it being 120 or so on the last show. So Polygon be moving. Just because we have some of those, there was a few stable coins on top. I'll cover a few of these other ones. OKB up to 10.8% today. Solana 10.8 as well. Lido staked ETH, so that's just Ethereum actually, so it's same as a stable coin. We'll go with SHIB breaking in the top 10 at 8.4% and Polkadot at 6.9. Are you guys holding any of these tokens? Like what of these top, like I'd say 10 tokens starting from like SHIB or Polkadot, I guess, down? Let's not talk about Litecoin. Is in your portfolio, if you would be so kind to share.
I've got a little bit of Polygon and enough BNB and ETH for transactions, and some Bitcoin for sure.
Some BNB and ETH for transactions. No, just ETH because you like it.
Nah, I don't. No? I don't hold ETH just because I like it.
Wow.
I use ETH because I need to use it for gas.
Dang, so you don't have, so ETH is not a part of your portfolio.
I mean, it's there. I have. I mean,
more ETH but like there in like the sense of like, oh, I can do like 100 trades on this Ethereum right here, like that, or like it's actually there.
I have like a little bit of ETH that I don't touch, but it's not like I'm trying to save. Like it's not like I'm trying to like.
You're not trying to
save
stack up
Ethereum.
ETH,
I'm not trying to stack ETH. No, I think that my theory is that you kind of by design, I'll just make the ETH. Like by investing in ETH projects, I have Ethereum basically. So I have a lot of tokens that are on ETH. Just most of my ETH is just kind of like put in things so that hopefully it will make more ETH and come back to me. But
okay. I feel that. How about you?
Bitfiend, I can't hear you. Are you talking?
No, I'm on the phone right now. I'll be right with you.
Oh,
guys.
my bad.
All right. So Bitfiend on the phone. Infinite. How about you?
I have some ETH and some BNB.
Some ETH, some BNB.
Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot. If I were to go in, I would stack Ethereum though. But hey, that may just be the normie take.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum. I mean, I think Ethereum's price is gonna go up for sure, but I feel like right now it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't think right now is Ethereum's time exactly.
Not the time to
Poking
just
it
go
with the
in on me.
stick. Come on.
All right, I'm back.
Do something.
Welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, like I feel like a little kid in a candy store, where it's like the top 100 coins are all looking real good.
Yeah,
It's looking ridiculous.
I mean, it's not even about the top 100. We put the narratives thing in there because for me, it's not even about the top 100 right now. It's
No,
about
it is. There's so much going on. Do you know like Ice?
Yeah.
From Decentral Games Ice Poker, the Decentraland
You're
meta.
breaking up a little bit.
No.
One
You got me now?
sec.
Or what?
It's a little robotic, but it might clear up.
How's that? Still
No, I
robot.
still got a little bit of.
Still
It's
got
a little.
little-
It's clicking a little bit too.
Cool, man.
It's like clipping a little bit, like when I get that little static in there.
How's
It
that?
sounds
going?
like it's more. There we go.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Better.
I believe
So,
you're talking about
yeah,
the
Decentral,
sounds much better.
Decentral Games Ice Poker. The Ice was up like 18% today. That's like a huge jump for Ice. Delegators are getting swamped with like requests. People are lining up at my door. Delegate me.
Yeah. It's been an interesting week for tokens. For sure. I like that. I got a little baby Doge bag just sitting there in case one day it decides to become 1 cent. Yeah. Have you? We got
What's
Vela
that Vela
token here.
looking like though?
I don't know if I can even mess with Vela like that. I don't even know if I
Why
can.
not?
This is the thing. Okay, so let's go to this Vela token. So I feel like we should be like open some of these tokens. So Vela has been hot, crypto Twitter, and then just in crypto circles recently. However, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know if their exchange is like even operational right now. Is it even up? Like, honestly, I know it's on testnet. I know they did the testnet thing or whatever the heck, but I don't know if it's up like or like operational like that. So let me go over here.
It's definitely odd because they have like 2 different tokens.
I mean, you can have a dual token system. I'm
Yeah, but
not against that.
Is that what's going on here?
They
It's
want
like,
too much from me right now.
I don't know. I don't know.
But this is my takeaway from it. Is just that it doesn't have like I get what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be like a GMX fork. I believe I was on DeFi Llama. It would say it's a GMX fork. However, it's VC backed as a GMX, and that's still fine. Like that can be used for liquidity or whatever purposes it is. And then the real issue is that it hasn't it's not going yet. And so it's the same reason why I shared with you, Satoshi, a token Arcadium or Arc token. It might be up here. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can find this one. And I'm bullish on this token. However, I can't just go in super heavy on the token because I'm bullish on it more so because of the narrative of the token and the fact that it's got like some GMX type of fork to it, but it's doing like this casino narrative. But this token, there's nothing on the dashboard right now that's showing you the total value or volume of the casino platform. So how many there's ways that you can kind of see how many fees are dropped in there, but it's not like really big on like, okay, this is how much volume is going. And with that case, it doesn't appear that there's like millions of dollars in volume moving or anything like that. And so I'm like, how big can the fees really be? How much is this is just like narrative and people assuming that maybe it gets there versus how much value it's actually generating? Platforms like GNS, like a Gains Network, and GMX actually have that value. And so that's a bullish narrative. Like they're making money. They're making tons of fees. And then they're able to buy whatever they need to do with the fee money. And everybody else who's staking is making money from the fees and stuff too. So it's like, that makes sense. But in the case of like Vela or Arcadium, where they haven't started yet, I can get down, but I can't get down too heavy yet. I gotta see some juice. Gotta see some juice.
Gotta see it get cracking. See what makes it tick, like you told me earlier, huh?
See, and I got Arcadium on screen right now. I am bullish on this thing. We shared this in the Discord over the week, about 4 or 5 days ago when it was at 40 cents or 49 cents. And I was like, dang, I was a little late on this. And yeah, it's up to it hit around $1.60 something earlier today. I feel like something like that. Let's see, yeah, $1.69, 18% off the all-time high, and it's still 142. So you could be up a pretty penny. And there's multiple calls that we've been making, even the Raul token or whatever the heck that I called the other day, where I said this is probably a more risky one. That one's up to almost 2x. Like there's just been it's been saucy. It's been saucy. Have you had any success recently, Satoshi? You hit anything?
I've had a couple things that look pretty good that I found some calls. I finally got my ass over on Arbitrum. Started looking around for stuff and trying to find out where I'm going to find these new tokens at. So I was just like looking on Twitter and trying to see what people were talking about. And I looked at that Veils token. Pretty good, but I think I put a couple dollars in, but nothing too much. Not even what I usually would put into something.
Okay.
And then there were a bunch of other tokens. Like I was just throwing stuff around because I was mad because I thought that the SEC was going after USDC too. So I was like, what am I supposed to do with these stables now? I can't fucking they're not safe for me. I gotta use them now. So I started buying a bunch of risky shit. We'll see how that works. But I got some stuff.
Funny.
I got some stuff.
It's funny that you say that because I totally had the thought that I'm sure many people in crypto had that same thought, right? Like what's going to happen if they force everybody out of, well, there's two thoughts that I have and I'll go through what I think everybody thought first. Like what's going to happen when they force everybody out of a stable coin, even if it's just one stable coin because of some lawsuit or something like that, it causes some FUD around that system. The money's going to flow into something. And you caused a lot of fear around stable coins. Where was all the money, all the money in crypto, that was here before? Where was it before stable coins? Straight up Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's in straight up Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is why Bitcoin maxis are often actually really pissed about stable coins and altcoins and anything else, because they want all that value of crypto, the entire market cap, to be in Bitcoin. And they're like, that would be better because we'd be well off to the races by then if it was all just in Bitcoin. We don't need all these other, why they call them coins, getting in the way. We don't need these other tokens getting in the way because they're just stopping the market cap of Ethereum from rising. They're stopping the market cap of Bitcoin from rising. So that was the first thing, that the money was probably going to start flowing into different tokens. And then the other thing was that if we're really going to be attacking, I guess it's two-pronged. If we're really going to be attacking these stable coins like this, it's probably because of, one, we're just we need to get rid of that in general. We don't want anything to do with it, in which case all these other countries that are doing their own digital versions of currencies, the yuan, the euro, etc., and they're becoming more popular. Australia's doing theirs. Would just start to win this race, and they have a more potential for the crypto market to actually circle around them for this new age of a digital currency, an international currency that's done digitally in this type of way that's more transparent. I think one of those countries would start to get the leadway in that. Leave it at that. I don't want to go on too long. But yeah. Any other thoughts on Satoshi's? I'm not sure if you guys have seen any news about that, but we're referring to the SEC or Gary Gensler going for the BUSD stablecoin, which is issued by Paxos. Specifically, the BUSD stablecoin on Ethereum, I guess, was really it too, not just on BSC or other networks. Specifically, that issued on Ethereum.
There's a thread that CZ has that we might take a look at. But
I heard he was toxic. You talking to him? You talking about him and Kevin's little debate or whatever? I heard he was throwing bows.
No, I think I heard about that too, but no, it's just a thread about
CZ versus Mr. Wonderful
about the stable coins. Well, that happened on CNBC though, mostly.
That's what I should have clipped up. Did you hear what Mr. Wonderful was saying? Did you hear what he said? Bro,
I don't think I heard.
He hit some stuff out of like a De Niro movie or something, man. This man said, he said something along the lines of I don't like what he said to me, and they have this saying about never crossing an Irishman, or saying
never call an Irishman a liar unless you know for sure.
Yeah,
because the Irish get mad. Like, what, dude?
He's like, because they're crazy. And he's like, yeah. So this guy, and I'm like, bro, what are you saying?
He's tripping.
This is like some clip this up for the movie.
But yeah, I'll let the Infinite and Biffy comment before I go into CZ's thread and I guess give my opinion on it.
No, I'm unfamiliar with what the SEC is planning to do with stable coins and so on and so forth. So, I'll need to learn. Yeah. Hopefully, you guys can inform me.
Okay.
I don't know shit about.
Oh, you didn't hear anything about this either.
Okay, so you remember? Well, okay, so last week we were talking about how I think I said I said I can't see anything that would make the price go lower or something shit like that. That's what I said, right? Something like that. Like at the end of last week's show, and I was like, but I did hear a rumor about because I think it was Brian Armstrong from Coinbase was talking about how he heard a rumor that the SEC was going to go after staking. So the SEC basically told Kraken that they need to shut down their staking program and pay a fine for selling unregistered securities. So I think that brought us down a little bit. And then probably like a day or two after that, the SEC told Paxos, who mints BUSD for Binance coin, they told Paxos that they have to stop minting BUSD. And so most of my stables were in BUSD, so I was like, damn, like I didn't know what was going to happen basically. So I just like moved all my stables to USDC just until I could try to figure out what was going on and what was going on. And so then later on we find out that USDC or US the company that issues USDC is called Circle, and I guess they sent some type of message to the SEC that Binance was like they weren't really using their funds the right way. I think that's what the complaint was, that Binance they weren't managing their reserves the right way or something. So then a couple of days ago they said that someone reported that the SEC told Circle to stop minting USDC, and I was like, damn it, like I'm hit again. So I was like thinking I was gonna have to like go to Tether or something, but later on we heard that that actually wasn't real. That I guess the SEC did not send Circle a memo telling them to stop minting. So I was kind of emotional yesterday and was like, man, I'm sick of this fucking stablecoin shit. I'm sick of these stable coins. I'm gonna yeet them all into these fucking high risk shit coins and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I did yesterday for a little bit.
I mean, I felt like a lot of people
Did that like
a
2
lot of
years
people
ago,
followed you.
but I'm still screwed.
Yeah. A lot of
That's
people
what I
followed
did
you into that move.
yesterday for a little bit, and then I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. And then, so let's check out CZ's thread real quick. It's not really that long.
Yeah, I can pop it up on screen.
Okay.
I believe this is the one you're talking about.
Yes, that's it.
In summary, BUSD is issued and redeemed by Paxos, and funds are Seifu. We were informed by Paxos they have been directed to cease minting new BUSD by the New York Department of Financial Services. Paxos is regulated by NYDFS. BUSD is a stablecoin wholly owned and managed by Paxos. So as a result, BUSD market cap will only decrease over time. Paxos will continue to service the product and manage redemptions. Paxos also assured the funds are Seifu and fully covered in reserves or by reserves in their banks, with these reserves audited many times by various audit firms already. On the alleged SEC versus Paxos lawsuit, I have no information about it other than public news articles. The lawsuit is between the U.S. SEC and Paxos. I am not an expert in U.S. laws, but personally, I agree with Miles' logic here. Not that it means much. So Miles, if you're not aware, is a host of Crypto Banter, also Twitter, Crypto Twitter threader. So good person to follow. He's usually in the mix of things. Yeah, I didn't want to steal your thunder if you had some thoughts on this stuff as I was going through it, if you just want to read through it.
Well, basically, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that stable coins are not securities, because you don't buy $1 and think that if I buy this dollar, it's gonna make me more dollars later on in the future. It's not really how it works, I guess. I mean, maybe someone else has, some nuance to that, but I also think that it's going to, I'm thinking that it's going to lead to more like algorithmic stablecoins, more decentralized stablecoins, more risky stablecoins that are going to be out there, and people are going to be looking to probably move their stablecoins a lot more than they were before.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of doing.
I mean, for sure. There was a time I wanted to do. We're going to switch topic in a second here, but before we do, you just mentioned decentralized stablecoins potentially
What
popping
is all
off
that?
some.
Like, oh, never mind. Sorry, guys.
All
I'm
right.
on my end.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah. So you were mentioning decentralized stablecoins and people potentially switching to those or more risky assets due to this. Or you also mentioned algorithmic stablecoins of the decentralized stablecoin variant. I think the day of the algorithmic stablecoins is like over. Like a purely algorithmic stablecoin, we used to see that a lot, where they have boardrooms. Boardrooms is like a typical page that these apps like to have, and it's a place where you stake some type of shares. And then you'll also mint out so many of these tokens on a TWAP, a time weight average price for that token. But I think that day, or anything that like kind of operates more so like that, is over. I think we're more so on to, if it's an algorithmic stable coin, it's also backed by something and over collateralized, backed by that asset to such a degree that it's like dang near impossible for it to kind of fall out, or just really, really hard. So one of those type of tokens that I wanted to show off here. Cool. I was like, am I on this page? Yes, it is the because I feel like it doesn't credit for what it is. This is DeFi Llama, aggregator of information on the blockchain. So specifically to DeFi. And these are the top DeFi applications. If you are not familiar with what these are the top, like these have the most money in them, billions of dollars. $8 billion is the top, almost $9 billion. And what's it like, number 14 on this list, something like that? Yeah, 18 on this list is this project called Liquidity. So this is like a lending and borrowing project marketplace, and it has a token called LUSD. And the Liquidity LUSD token, or stable, it's a stable coin. You can stake it like you would in like a high savings yield account, and earn interest, I'll say, or rewards from when people get liquidated on the other side of things. And that reward comes to you in both Ethereum and LUSD. So you're earning more of a stable coin, and you're earning Ethereum. And primarily, I guess it comes in Ethereum. But this has made it this stable coin. I believe over the last year or so, it produced an APY of around 30% or so for its holders, which is pretty dang good for a stable coin. Again, and it's over collateralized for some 100%. And so I think these type of projects where you get a stable coin that's actually like way over collateralized are going to become that new. And
that's more than pretty damn good.
To.
That's like excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason why it's at the top. So yeah, wanted to point that out. This next thing that we go into, let's move it across the screen here. Let's go how do you, excuse me, I was saying what? How do you find new projects or new tokens? So I'm gonna go around and ask the room, how is it, especially in this market that's frothy, called a frothy market? You gotta know how to find tokens. Or there's no wrong. We'll say there's no wrong answer about how you find tokens. That's what we'll say. But yeah. Gonna start off with our resident normie.
I don't. I resource to you guys if I was going to do that. This is probably where I'd start. I do that whole weird, hey, what's good? And you'd be like, come on, man. It don't work that way. And I'd be like, but it's the way I want it to work. But yeah, there you go.
All right. I'll extend your portion of the question. And I guess if the other hosts want to know that too, you can answer that. But let's say if it was like a stock or something, do you invest in stocks, or is there a way that you go about finding stocks?
No, I don't invest in stocks either. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I would probably go to like, a business registry, anything that's kind of coming up. And I actually don't know what it's called. But there are things that kind of register people when they go public and so on and so forth. And I'd probably just follow that. Just scan through the list of companies that show up in there.
So you're like, I don't do it, but if I did do it, I'd go total degen. All right. I see that. I see where you're at. All right. Satoshi.
If I'm feeling really like adventurous, I'll just go on Twitter and search some hashtags, and I'll look at the top hashtags for a little, like the top, like the most activity on that hashtag for a little bit. But where I really find most of my stuff is on on the latest tab. So when you go to your hashtags, like I was looking up Arbitrum these last couple days, and you look up the latest hashtag, and it just shows like things as they come in. So like, if someone posts something a minute ago, that's the first thing you'll see. If they posted something an hour ago, then it'll be further down in your timeline. So I just look through like all that stuff, and it's nerve-wracking, but you start to see something once, and you're like, okay. You start to see it a couple more times, you're like, okay, let me look at that. And so you look at it, and see if it's a token, see what it does, look at the supply and the price, how many people are holding it. Then I have a couple Telegram groups, and those guys are just like, everyone's looking for stuff, and everyone's trying not to get wrecked. So everyone's just trying to help everyone kind of find stuff and show people how to buy it and show people how not to get wrecked, basically.
Feel that. Yeah, I feel like Telegram groups is a definite. So you want to, it's nice because it's nice to have other people that are doing the same actions, right? And so like minds searching. You can't search at all. How about you, Bitfiend? How do you find new tokens, new projects?
To be honest, lately, I don't even look for new tokens because I have so many. And I don't know if I'm going to buy a cheap coin, I'm going to go for something that I'm already getting. And I mean, I look for new projects on CoinMarketCap under trending or newly listed, but most of the time it's not good. But I like to check out like the PancakeSwap syrup pool and see what they're dishing out, and see. And I look up those and see if they have any potential. There's one I'm staking for right now. I can't even remember what it is because I just stake it and leave it alone. But it looks promising.
Nice. All right. So I like to do a few different things. One of those is going to PancakeSwap, checking out the syrup pool. As we're going for last reference. So syrup pool is where you can stake different assets and earn on PancakeSwap. And so that's to usually like new projects will come in there and they'll try to incentivize PancakeSwap to list their project or whatever. So it's a good way of finding new projects with some capital. So cool one there. Want to share? I'll share a few ways I like to do so with you guys. So one of those ways is this platform that we were just on, checking out the top 10. This is DeFiLlama.com. So this is a great one to go to. It lists a lot of these projects. Now the project does have to get listed here, but there's just like a lot of. I'm not even going to go through all the ways that you can search this platform, but it's a good place to go to find projects. You can find them by different chains. You can find them by what they're forked from. If there's a different type of thing, you can find them by their yield. So what percentage of yield is offered across the blockchain on a pretty wide scale. It's a great place to go to. Next one that I would mention is Dex Tools. So this is a similar type of aggregator. I like to call it's like a CoinGecko with some legs on it. It does cost some money to use some of the other features of it. I don't think anybody really does, but it's a nice place to get an idea of top tokens that are moving. And oftentimes these tokens that it's displaying are not listed on CoinGecko yet. They can display here before they are listed on CoinGecko. This is like reading off of like Ether. Like I'm pretty sure it just reads off of every platform's scanner. So there's like Etherscan and ArbScan and whatever. And Dex Tools reads off of those to give you information about the blockchain pretty much as it's happening.
We use Dex Tools a lot. We use this a whole lot in a lot of my groups, and it's really useful. Like they have a lot of. I like the charts, and I like that it has the Etherscan, the CoinGecko, the Telegram, all that stuff right there. but yeah, this is just. I would like to figure out how to find tokens on here because I know that like a lot of times at the top of the dashboard, it'll show like what's hot on the tops, and I know
you can go to
they
like live
have
new pairs.
like they have a lot of the new coins like as soon as they launch. So it's like Bitfiend mentioned like going on to CoinGecko and looking at what's trending. But I feel like by the time it gets there, it's like late. Like now, a lot of the times when it does get there, it's like
agree with
it's
that.
kind of it's been verified a little bit. So like it's a little more legit, but it is a little bit later if you're trying to like get in early and make money. So I mean, not saying that once it's on CoinGecko, it's too late for you to get into a project, but just
See,
depending.
the early gains are going at that point. But I also
Yeah.
feel like a lot of times when a coin is listed on CoinGecko, is if it's a solid project, it's a whole new opportunity for money to flow into the project.
Of course,
Because a lot of people that don't know how to search these other methods that we've mentioned, and at this point we've mentioned like a dozen or so methods. If they're not using those, then they're waiting for it to get on some place like this, or they're waiting for somebody to tell them about it after they've searched something like this. And it's like, yeah, that's a process from Dex tools, just finding it with no liquidity, initial liquidity for these right here. You'll see no liquidity. So that's that. Another platform that I like to, and I have there's two more platforms I'm going to share. Another platform I like to use is called RugDoc. So I currently have it set on Arbitrum, but you can search this by different blockchains. And then they do their own, like, I want to call them like community audits, but they have some auditors here. They do some audits of these different smart contracts, these different projects, and they give you a review of these. So it's a nice place to check out audits on different projects. They also rate these by risk. So some risk, not eligible for risk, when it's hard for them to really view all the contract. Medium risk, high risk.
See that Vela boy, not eligible. I see you, Smurf. I see you.
It's not out yet. They don't. I don't know. What is their thing on Vela? Vela is a decentralized chain. We reserve the right now. Typically, these projects deal with leverage since there's a source of search thin. Yeah. So they'll get to Vela eventually. It's like that just hasn't been done yet. But yeah, it's a good place to go. I like to go here and check things out. And yeah, it's a hot place. They also have a calendar here. So this calendar is really nice for backtracking too and seeing when projects have launched. So you can go back in this month and be like, okay, this is launched, and see if it's still doing well. It launched, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Then maybe it's got some staying power. Maybe do some research on it. So there's that. And then the last one that I'm going to bring up today is Dex Screener. Yeah, anybody here use Dex Screener?
I use Dex Screener a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. I'd say just kind of the same capacity as Dex Tools. It has. I like that it has the market caps usually. It has the market caps of the tokens and like the pairs and the contracts and how much they've moved and stuff. And it's kind of like a decentralized trading view or CoinGecko where a lot of the early stuff is there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I like it.
Like I said, but usually I don't find my stuff here. Usually after we find it, we plug it in here and go look at it. But I've never thought I probably should start using this to find early stuff, but I feel like it's harder to find stuff because on here it's just like it just pops up and you could go and buy everything that pops up or
not necessarily. So you do have like down here at the bottom, like, yeah, you can wait for things to pop up and whatever, but you can filter out pretty extensively.
Okay.
So yeah, at the bottom there's this little filter section, and so you can type in by fully diluted evaluation of things. You can type in by their liquidity, how old the pair is in terms of like time frames of 6, 24, whatever hours. Minutes. So you can, I don't know. I feel like this is a platform that's actually made to find things pretty early on, and they've done a good job of adding other blockchains on as other blockchains have come into existence and become more popular. Those different ones are able to, you're able to find things on, and similar to Dex tools, they really have a nice gainer section. So you can check out by trending or new pairs. I don't care about that so much. I kind of want to catch things in a trend, me personally. And if it's in a trend and it's newer, then great. But I like to section things out by this section first, and then maybe I'll come in here and I'll look at their liquidity. If it's got the most liquidity, it's probably not. You're not new to it, right? I maybe want something with like 200,000 or so liquidity, 400,000 liquidity, close to 1 million liquidity, something like that. And I know I'm probably pretty early to it. Then check out the project, see how it's doing, etc. And I'll give you guys an idea of what this looks like before we move on. When you are looking at a project in here, as Satoshi mentioned, they give you some nice links. So on the right-hand side of the screen, we'll see, you can check out the pair. That's going to send you to the scanner. The contract address for it, you can just copy it here, or it can take you to the Explorer, the scanner again. Same thing with the other token it's paired with. They'll send you to the DEX that has the most liquidity for that. Sometimes there's multiple DEXs here listed. And I believe they give like some social information and stuff there. Yeah. Scroll down, they got their Twitter, Discord, Telegram, etc. So it just puts a nice little amount of information for places in here. The one thing that I have trouble finding sometimes is the website of a place. They have a lot of information for this one, but sometimes this information right here is not there, and you have to just know how to search after you got the official contracts. But that's Dex Screener. Lovely place, lovely place. And I'm gonna clear that topic. That was our how to find those bad boys. Speaking of how to find those bad boy, I wanted to cover this thread here we got by Crypto Condom. He's
it's only funny because you laughed.
not this guy's not to be joked with. No, I'm just kidding. If you're massively up on small cap, low flow, I strongly suggest you take some profit in your time. So this is just him talking about taking profit, but I really wanted to point out and start this whole section into some of these altcoins and some of these narratives that are going off recently. So I believe Satoshi is aware of the token that they're talking about most often in this chain or in this thread here. And that is the Grail token. Grail.
Camelot.
So yeah, what's your? I don't know if you can give us what do you know about Grail as far? I'm gonna look into this little.
Basically, it's some type of DEX on Arbitrum. They have a really low supply, I think, of DEX tokens. And they have some partnerships with some other DEXs on Arbitrum. That's about all I know. I didn't look into it too much because I knew that I missed out, and I was like, I need to find the next one.
Need the next one.
I'm gonna need to be educated like the normies on this one, I think.
Okay, let's look into Grail a little bit. We won't spend too much time because I feel like we could spend a lot of time here, but let's look into Grail a little bit. So you feel like out. I like to this is part of the research stuff of with tokens, right, guys? So just looking at CoinGecko, let's say we were just a CoinGecko user and we're checking out this project specifically. I'm bullish on this project. Just a little biased, let you guys know. There we go. And to everybody in here. So this token, and when I was mentioning this to Satoshi, letting him know that I had definitely missed, I was way too late. I had enacted too late. I still acted. I acted when I mentioned these things to him, but I couldn't spend as much on it. I initially found this token was around like $200 or so. It's like, dang, I missed it. It's like $2,000 right now. So yeah, as if you just caught that, we were talking, it was around $2,000. This is about 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. I did buy in then. I got me some Grail, and I set myself up. I did this live on stream, so I bought myself some Grail, and I set myself up to earn some Grail as well because it just seemed like it was on an upward trajectory. And if we scroll down to this chart, let's look at this Grail chart. This is a 24-hour. Let's it hasn't been alive that long, so let's not go out to 90 days. But yeah, this thing is pretty much that's its existence. Its existence is up and to the right. The trend is your friend until it isn't, and the trend is obviously only going in one direction, in my opinion here. Why is this? All right, I wanted to do some digging. So when I look at this thing, oops, I hate when it highlights everything and it just won't let go. Thank you. All right. One of the things I notice here is I like max supply tokens. This thing has a max supply of 100,000 tokens. So in the past, when I've seen projects that do something like this, like a lot of tomb forks like to use max supplies of tokens around, they would use like 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever. But in the past, you would see these tomb forks, sometimes 120,000, and the token would get to be $6,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. I think Tomb itself reached 32 or something like that at one point. But they go up. they can become very expensive tokens. So like anytime I see that, like it already piques my interest a little bit because there's somebody's going like crazy in the who's moving their mic that much. Oh goodness. Yeah, so when you see something like that, the token it's just there's so little of the supply of the token. If there's demand for the token, and if there's something else added with the token, then it can go boom, it can go up a lot. Here with Grail, I'll save you guys some of the doc explaining and what I researched here. But here with Grail, not only is it a max supply of 100,000 tokens, but they also have deflationary mechanisms worked into the token itself. And so there's already been a decent amount of the supply burned or taken out of existence for Grail. We can see the circulating supply. Circulating supply is only 11,000 Grail.
Jesus Christ.
If there's a max of 100,000 Grail, they've almost gotten rid of 30,000 Grail from the supply. So Grail is, I don't know. It's and it's been around since like November. So it's like a 10th or like every month or so. So I don't know if it continues, it's going to become a very scarce token. And you stake it to get like partial like fees and stuff like that from the platform. So I don't know. We've seen things like this done before, but one has never been done in this type of way where it's actually attached to a DEX as well. And in this manner, I guess oftentimes they kind of just they often involve what's that, like an algorithmic stable coin of some sort, and that throws the whole project into chaos, honestly. But this one's not doing that. It's strictly doing dexes and fees, kind of building off of this whole narrative that Arbitrum started, I would say, this whole like real yield narrative where you get part of the fees of a platform. And so if they've got high fees and stuff like that, and you need the Grail to get it, and Grail is becoming scarcer and scarcer, it's one way of doing that with your token. And I think that's why we're seeing so much success over here with the Grail token. Now we're $3,350, up $1,300 since I got it a few days ago. Crazy.
Woo.
Crazy. Yeah, hurts your
Wow.
soul when you didn't buy it at like 200 though. Hurts your soul.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, Grail. I wanted to look at this other token that I mentioned throughout this, which was GMX. And I know we talked about, I've mentioned DMX a few times, and like, all like GMX and stuff like that. But here we have the special privilege of a thread here that might highlight some of GMX, and I wanted to present it today to give some insight into these narratives, like this new narrative on crypto and like why it works, what's been working, why are so many different platforms forking GMX specifically. It's like it's good to look into these things, like, and not just be like, I figured that's like you should maybe spend a little time trying to understand it better, right? So that's what we're doing here. So part 8 of Jake Poor on Twitter, his deep dive into GMX. So done this before, and this is going to be referencing a bunch of other threads. So I suggested if you really want a dive in on this, you go check them out on Twitter and really dive into this themselves. So the purpose of the deep dive series is to analyze a number of popular projects. That's just what he's saying there. Let's look at this thing though. Diving in, GMX, the price at the time that he was writing this was $63. Again, I became bullish on GMX after that stream that we had where we looked up the top tokens from the last year, 2022. And we were doing this at a time when the market was like really suffering. Everything was down like an insane amount that day, like 30 or like 60%. It was like crazy that day. Everything was red, except for like 4 or 5 tokens. And one of those tokens like was green on the day and on the year. And it was like one of the few tokens in the market that pulled that off. And it was GMX. And it was up by like more than just a little bit. It was like up like 30% on the year on the worst day of the year. Like crazy. So that's when I got my interest. We look at the price of GMX today. I know it probably ran with everything else today, but let's see what it's at. $83, bro. Yeah, I doubled up on my GMX then because I got my GMX around 40. Just $100 at first. And then so market cap 540, decentralized perp exchange on Arbitrum and Avalanche, all-time highs, blah blah blah. So again, this exchange is so popular because it's a decentralized perp exchange. Basically, you can take out leverage on this exchange. You can do the same type of leverage trading that you might do on something like Binance or Bybit or KuCoin or whatever, but you can do it here with community pooled liquidity. And so, since it's community pooled liquidity, that also means that if there's not enough community liquidity there, only so many people can take out leverage. So there's like a cap on who can take out leverage because of that as well. And these people that obviously supply the liquidity are being paid fees from however long your position's open. They're being paid fees. They're also paid fees when you open the position, and they're paid fees when you close the position. So there's a bunch of different ways that they get fees for providing that liquidity, and it seems to pay them off pretty well. You're becoming house money on exchange in a different way that we haven't done before. So a lot of platforms or programs are trying to copy this type of situation here. That's pretty much. I don't want to go into like too much more of this, other than just like showing you guys that this kind of these type of threads are down here. That's a nutshell of how this works here. We could go into like, I don't want to go into like treasury and stuff like that, unless you guys really wanted to. But yeah, I don't know. I want to take it to the cycle, the council, I guess, at this point in time. Other than GMX, or maybe with GMX, I don't know. Well, any other narratives or things that you've seen popping with GMX? Have you heard of GMX? Are you familiar? Does this move you into something like? Yeah, does this move you? Are you like, oh, that sounds like maybe it's a good idea?
I think that I would definitely try to use their platform if I get a chance to. I don't usually like to. No, not that I don't like to. I usually don't have a lot of time to leverage trade, because I like to babysit a lot of my positions, and I don't have a lot of time to babysit them that much. So I kind of steer clear of leverage, but I like to listen to people's stories, to people who do leverage and stuff, and I follow a lot of leverage traders, and I think that the way that they can change their bias is really useful in the market, because sometimes you gotta be bullish, sometimes you gotta be bearish, sometimes you gotta look at the data and see when to flip. But as far as other narratives, I just think people need to pay attention to Arbitrum. I think people need to pay attention to. I think optimism should be popping up soon. Or is optimism already going hard? I don't know.
I mean, it's still there. It's still. I know it's got TPs and stuff like that. They do have another airdrop coming out, so they might get some more people over there at that. But it just seems like more people are developing on Arbitrum. So I'm like, it's like, there's that competition on any blockchain, right? And it's like, if everybody's on, if the party's actually happening at Arbitrum, and then like somebody else like, yeah, but our place too. Come on, and you're like,
I feel like I'm
over here
missing out. You guys talk about Arbitrum, and I don't have anything on there yet.
I'm like, look, hey, I got started with just $100 on Arbitrum on the I'm looking at my GMX dashboard right now, so their earn section, and it's $100 is what I initially put into Arbitrum to test out GMX, because I wanted to see it. That $100 is now worth $206. This is in January. I started this like basically the beginning of January after I got back from vacation, and then it's earned $2. Most of that is in Ethereum.
It's not bad. That's 2%.
Yeah, 2% on that, and 100% on just the 2%. I'm like, it's worth. I don't know. It's checking out. And I recently did the same thing on Camelot with I took the GMX and I split it, and it was just USDC that I was just sitting in some USDC, and I was like, it can either sit in USDC or I can put it and it's this liquidity pair and this token that's been the best performing asset of 2022. I'm not I believe it's probably going to go up, and I probably won't have less than $100 in a year. And it's up. That's been how many days? Like maybe like a week since I did that, and or less. And that's currently worth. GMX is going up some since last time I looked at it, but it was worth $1.10. And again, as a liquidity pair, it's going to be a little bit harder for that to go down. So it was worth $1.10, and I had earned about 20 or something like that cents of Grail. So earning Grail's going up, so Grail's probably worth more now too. And the pair itself just went up, and I'm like, it was just USD that was just sitting there. Otherwise, I'm like, it's gonna sit there. Screw it. Yeah, interesting. Okay, here's a few fun ones to round us out. A few fun ones. Oh, before we go too far, I guess, into these last ones, we do have a video today to play.
Ooh.
There's a video. Like these videos lately.
I wonder who it could be this time. Let me think.
I have a. Are you gonna guess?
Is it Kevin O'Leary?
It's not Kevin O'Leary. I really wish
No.
I had Mr. Wonderful on tape. I really should have got that. I should have got that. Maybe I'll cue that up for next time.
Is it Gary? Dude?
It's pretty timeless.
Tell me it's Gary gaslighting Kraken. That shit was epic.
Oh my god, the Gary gaslighting of Kraken. I did watch that. I did not get that.
I was
did not put that.
As a man, I never really understood what gaslighting is until
you did that.
Until I seen Gary say that shit. I was like, oh, that's it. That's what that means. That's what gaslighting means right there.
Yeah. Here, I can maybe I'll find that one while I'm.
No. Just tell me what.
I was like, well, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna get this one anyways. But like maybe while it's going, while it's going, maybe I'll get that one.
Let's hear yours.
But the one we got here is, let me on screen. Senator Ron Johnson. I believe it's Senator. Ron Johnson here. It's called Social Security, a legal Ponzi scheme, and said the Social Security and Medicare needs reforms. He said it this morning. So this is the video, actually.
We're talking with Senator Ron Johnson, of course. One of the few bipartisan applause lines of Tuesday night was related to the notion that both sides should agree not to touch Social Security and Medicare. I get the reflexive political applause to that idea, but these entitlement programs do need reforms, and they don't have to be cuts, but they need reforms, and we do need serious adults in Washington, D.C. who are willing to take on the challenge and do the work, instead of engaging in this political arson against each side when it's even mentioned. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so that's why what I've talked about, from the first time I ran in 2010, I just laid out the reality of Social Security. It's a legal Ponzi scheme. It is. I mean, it's a pay-as-you-go system.
Oh, that's right where it stopped. Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and have to agree with my boy. What's his name? Ron Johnson. I'm gonna say
yeah.
It is. It's a Ponzi scheme. Like, I'd be paying in to Social Security. I ain't gonna get nothing back. At the end of the day. It's gonna be gone in like 10 years.
It's a toss-up. Also, there's that, and then it's like, I mean, don't they have to wouldn't they have to do some pretty strong price adjustments or whatever for if we're losing so much purchasing power on such a ridiculous level, like if every 100 years, going by what we're doing right now, if every 100 years you lose 2,000% plus purchasing power, it was 2,000 whatever the heck percent plus every 200. So within 50 years, we could say we're losing 1,000%. Within 25 years, we could say we're losing 500% or so purchasing power. It would have to be pretty damn strong. You'd have to, I don't know, something's got to adjust there. That's a lot of you give them I don't know. It's like if you promise me. I just imagine in the 70s or something like that. They're talking somebody into this shit, and they're like, yeah, don't worry. You'll get $400 a month. And they're like, hell yeah. Sign me up. Honey, $400 a month.
Yeah, back in the day, that would have been it, man. But now, it's that ain't going to pay. That's not even half your rent.
Yeah. It's not kicking. I don't know. That's how I feel about that. Yeah, I wanted to because we just played that clip, and I wanted to at least mention the Gensler thing that Satoshi here was just talking about, and we do have Gensler on the cover of today's episode. Shout out to Gary Gensler.
Gensler has been a fucking recurring character on our podcast these last few weeks.
Yeah, the gaslighting was in reference to. I forget where you said it was. It was CNBC where he's speaking.
It was CNBC,
and
yeah.
He's talking, they're like I forget if it was in this. He's been asked a few different times. Now people are like, it doesn't meet the Howey test. Like a stable coin doesn't meet it's like you're not expecting money. You're just holding money, and like it doesn't do it. And so like I believe like it gets to the point in the conversation, and Gary's like, he dodges all this other stuff, and he's like, we just invite these companies to come in and register with us. Like, all they have to do to avoid this is just come in and register with us. And then people are like, yo, like everybody's literally been trying to register. You deny everybody. So like you deny every single crypto company that comes to try to register, and then you just sue people. Like, and it's like you have no clarity on things. And it's like everybody's like, yo, like how can you say that when this is like the actual approach that you take, and you know that you take that approach? You haven't. How are you gonna tell somebody this is all you have to do when you haven't accepted anybody?
Yeah, it's like all you had to do to avoid paying $30 million fine and shutting down your whole staking program was just come in and sign a piece of paper that says that you guys are telling people that it's risky to buy this risky stuff. It's like, no, you guys won't let us come in and register because you want to sue us. That's what it is. They just want to sue everybody, and SEC is
gotta be more profitable.
We about to make 30 million real quick. We don't give a fuck.
It's got to be more profitable or something, because otherwise I just don't understand the delay, and like, or at least like to be like, yo, this thing is bad, like the market's bad, etc., to the point that we have to like sue people for it, and we're suing these people because we're trying to help investors. But for the most part, the only thing that we've done is harm a large scale of investors from the things that we've tried to sue. And the one that we hurt the most investors with, XRP, we lost that battle. Like after years, we dragged it out for years, and we actually lost that battle, and we hurt their investors for the vast majority of like cryptos run. Their
it's
investors
almost
got
like
pummeled.
they're really not trying to protect investors at all,
isn't it? It's interesting. It's really interesting. Like I don't know. It's like they're interesting. All they have to do is put out some actual like clarity on something. Like if you'd actually put down, like, I feel like if they would just be like, yeah, these are the actual guidelines. This is what you have to do to get through. Not, this is the Howey test, and then like actually that doesn't meet the Howey test. I'm like, well, how doesn't it? We don't know. We just don't like you. Pretty much is how they kind of treat things. It's because otherwise, how do you get around a stable coin itself? I don't know, bro. It just doesn't make sense. It's like
if they let people register, they can't sue them. So it's just like they don't get to make any money if they just let everyone be in. Plus, the banks are probably like, well, if you let these guys register, then our shitty ass APY is not going to be very attractive anymore. So
that's really what it feels like. A lot of it comes out of something like that, where it's like, bro, it just make it make sense. We really would like you to make it make sense. Nobody's against you making it make sense, if you would, but will they?
I never make sense.
Hey, man.
I don't even make dollars.
Hey, fight the good fight. All right, there's one or two more threads here we want to cover. I'm gonna skip the token terminal one though. That's a good one. Where is Mr. Ordinal here? We have this. I feel like this is an important one to get to, because there's this whole new narrative. We talked about the real yield narrative. Tokens like GMX, Arbitrum itself has just become a narrative, honestly. Like everything is popping on Arbitrum. Everything's getting a new chance on Arbitrum. There's an Olympus DAO fork tried to happen on Arbitrum, and a bunch of people got rugged. Like they need to stop. Damn. People just got rugged just because like they did a pre-sale of it, and it's like but this project grew to such an insane size and popularity just because they were like, we're going to be an OHM fork on Arbitrum. That's all they had to say. They had like 3 tweets. Everything else was bare. I'm like, bro, what's wrong with people? Everybody's retweeting this. Big influencers were retweeting and stuff. I'm like, bam, what? And then it rugged like a week or two. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all got to stop being so thirsty. It's not the right way to be for OHM. Really? Whatever. Anyways, this other narrative.
He puts his hands up. It's like, well.
This other narrative is an NFT narrative. It's the ordinals. Before we go any farther, you guys have heard of ordinals? I know Satoshi has. I know you've heard of ordinals. Bitfiend, you heard of ordinals?
I have not.
No ordinals. Infinite.
I
Hit
have
me.
not.
No, ordinals are NFTs on the Bitcoin network. So it says Bitcoin specifically, but I'm pretty sure that means Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is not quite, but it's Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. It's how Bitcoin tries to keep up with everybody else. Is what I'm going to call it. So yeah, ordinals are NFTs that are existing on the Bitcoin network. And of course, that means there's a whole new narrative around NFTs. Like it's the same way that like when NFTs went from Ethereum to Polygon, it started a whole bull run over there on Polygon, and any other blockchain they went to, it starts a little run on those blockchains. So now NFTs are on Bitcoin. There was an influencer recently who sold one of his, I think it was a Bored Ape, and like or converted it from the Ethereum blockchain to the Bitcoin blockchain. So that ape no longer exists on Ethereum. It now only exists on Bitcoin. But basically, here's a nice little thread. Now, say this person's name out loud so you guys can go check them out whenever you want. OX Maker Lee writes some nice threads. He's a sappy seal. We talked about those seals and penguins. Again, the sappy seal is a little bit more on the NFT side of thing in general. Not that they both are, but sappy seal is a little bit different. They're both smart communities. And this guy's writing a nice little thread about this. So he says how to inscribe, how to buy and sell, and how to make generational wealth with your ordinals for dummy. Again, ordinals are the NFTs on Bitcoin. Let's see if we can pick something out of here that's really fun. Ordinals are possible through Taproot upgrade. Think Taproot like ERC 720 standard for Ethereum. Basically, ordinals are the JPEG. Taproot is the token, and Bitcoin is the chain. So ordinals are the JPEG. Taproot is the token. So like ERC 72021, and then Bitcoin is the chain. If you know NFTs, that probably made sense to you. And if you didn't, pause and read that again. So I don't know what else to tell you. Does that make sense to you guys, Bitfiend and Satoshi? I know Infinite, I know we'll see where you're heading on that too. That makes sense? Cool.
I mean,
cool.
this is legit.
Yeah. Bitcoin ordinals, anyone can mint, inscribe one. You can do it yourself, hard with a site easy. Not all Bitcoin wallets can send/receive them. Use a fresh wallet. Only hold the ordinal per wallet, or one ordinal per wallet. Really?
So this
That's
is actually on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You can lose your NFT by spending the SAT it's inscribed on.
Whoa.
So,
What?
Whoa. Let me just get
so
a
you're
Polygon.
inscribing
NFT
on a
something.
Satoshi.
What the fuck?
On just one Satoshi?
I guess.
How do you know that that's the one?
I think that's why they're saying not to have more than one ordinal per wallet.
Wow, that's crazy, bro.
Because then it's like in your wallet, like you definitely move that ordinal, and it's somewhere in your stack of Satoshis, I guess. I mean, I'd have to read more, but that's what it sounds like thus far, right? Fees are paid with BTC. There is no market to buy/sell yet. Don't use Coinbase, Binance, or a Ledger. Sparrow
I just
Wallet.
gotta work call, guys. I'm gonna have to take off.
All right, Bitfiend. Well, thank you for joining us as always.
Good seeing you, bud.
Keep it
Yeah,
bullish.
no problem. You guys have a good one.
You too.
See?
Can't sell, transfer, or trade an ordinal unless you are running a Bitcoin node on your computer. Interesting.
Wow.
Once you download a node, you need to sync with a blockchain. Heads up, syncs take about 1 to 3 days. So you need some special stuff to move an ordinal, to sell an ordinal. It looks like you can receive one. You can receive one. Go ahead.
Yeah, that sounds bad to me. I don't know if it's just me. But I was like,
sounds like some bullshit, bro.
It sounds garbage. I'm like,
it's a little complex. This is
like,
like
it's not even the complex part. It's like, you know, hey, you can only fit one in your wallet, you know, and then like, it sounds like it should just sit in this wallet, and it feels like the only thing I would want to put in that wallet, and it just sounds too easy to mess it up, you know. And it's just like, I don't know. That sounds garbage to me. I don't know if that's just me, but
see, it makes it a tough situation. In my opinion, it makes it a tough situation. I think for as far as the process of like receiving one of these ordinals and whatever here, like sell, transfer, trade, I think that's probably just like an early stage thing. And it might be the same for the ordinal itself, where if it was due to the taproot upgrade and it's like a certain way, there might be some type of way where I imagine whether it's them creating another taproot type of standard thing or whatever for Bitcoin or something else, but then all of a sudden you can hold this like if you just like put like a 1 at the end of it, 0.1. And it's like, okay, well now you have one of these taproots from this one, then you have the 1.1, you have the 1.2, you have whatever, and so on and so on. So, but I can imagine that. Hold on, let me get Satoshi back here. But who knows? Who knows? Right now, it sounds a lot. Sounds like a lot. Tutorial to set up a node. Here's an easy way, but you can transfer 2 websites. Will do everything for you. Again, yeah, I imagine things like this become more and more commonplace. Maybe they just take small fees. Ordinals, gamma.io. Do it yourself. Hard mode, complete walkthrough. And oh my goodness, when you're going into core command, it's that early. This is what I'll say about this, man. This is what I'll say about this, because this is like the first time I'm looking through this tutorial thing of it, is that it's really early for the ordinal game, and that's not always bad in cryptocurrency. Usually in cryptos, if you are that early to the party where it's harder to do something, again, I imagine they're gonna make it all easier over time. But if you're that early where it's hard to do, whenever you're like bridging to a blockchain and it's hard to bridge to the blockchain, everybody's asking you, how do you bridge this blockchain, whatever, that's when the real money's being made. So tis what tis. But
I mean, I appreciate the, early adopter kind of like thought process, but I don't know. Right now, that just sounds garbage. And like you said, it is in, as they put it, alpha. And it's like, that's fine. It just sounds trash right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. And this other thing I'll say about that is, like, in general, if it's just like a badge type of run on the Bitcoin network, like let's say you do have to switch everything. I can only have one of these for a while, and who knows how long that lasts, right? It's still a way of you like almost having like a specific account or something. It's like, okay, well, I can still prove that I'm the owner of this account, and the same way that you use NFTs in general. And hopefully, like, again, at that point, it's just like a hope. Like, well, I guess you didn't need to do anything to receive it. You can receive them pretty easily. It's transferring and trading and all this other stuff. So you can still interact with something potentially, maybe even on a different blockchain, send it something, and it sends you a Bitcoin ordinal to a Bitcoin wallet. I don't know. That makes it interesting to me. We'll see how things interconnect with each other in the future. This last thing we want to share, also on the ordinal path. And that is Sappy Seals will be launching a gamified free mint collection on, you know what? I didn't even realize, like, I was saying that just because, like, I thought that was the direction it was going. Like, I totally forgot about this thing. And some of what is, because, yeah, gamified free. I'm like, it's kind of starting to be in that direction, right? Like, that's what makes sense as something that you could possibly do with these type of things. Will be a gamified free mint collection on Bitcoin. Anybody can participate. We will never release anything purely because of hype, but this mint fits perfectly and will kickstart the Sappy Seals universe. This is extreme intention behind this. So this is Wab. I think he's like one of the creators of Sappy Seals, founder of Sappy Seals. One of the most influential in the crypto Twitter space. Whenever he tweets and talks about things, whether it's DeFi or NFTs. And so this is one of the crinkly brains out there in the NFT space. And they're going to be doing on the ordinal. So this is what I was talking to Satoshi about before we started the stream. I'm like, okay, I got to try to get a Sappy Seal ordinal. I just gotta do it. If it's going to get free, it's going to be free. All right, like, I don't know. You gotta try. You gotta try. The thing could be worth like $10,000, $20,000. Like
the best things in life for free.
Yeah, you gotta, like, if you know how to get down and you get the information, like, you gotta try. I don't understand why you wouldn't at this point, knowing how well these projects perform. Even if it's just like $2,000 you get from, like, so okay, wow, no, for shame. Like, what? Oh my goodness, who do you have to be like be upset about that? But that's what we got. That's what we got today. That's rolling us out. And so we got the final questions for our host again tonight, which is running to the market, talking about the market a little bit. Ginsman doing things, stable coins, real yield, casinos, Arbitrum, NFTs, Bitcoin. How are you feeling about the market, Satoshi?
Well, today I'm still feeling pretty good. Seems like I think we're seeing like a Max Payne type thing where all these people are like telling us that we're going lower, and we gotta like make the people feel like they don't know what they're talking about. So Bitcoin might go up a little bit so that we can wreck those people, and then we'll see where we're gonna bottom out at. We'll see where the real bottom is before this halvening comes next year.
So also feeling like the real bottom's not in, or like potentially, I guess. Right.
Well, I just think that I think the bottom could be in, but we have to test it to see.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, when do we at least test that teens level? Like when we test the teens, I think will be a nice test of that. Like, Infinite, how you feeling about the market?
Like every time we talk, obviously there's cool things, places you can hang out. There's ways that you can kind of move and sit and take advantage of. But, still kind of bearish. It feels a little bit more neutral than it has the last few weeks. It feels like, with all the things that are happening in the world, it doesn't feel as stressful, strangely enough, and I use stress kind of like lightly because I don't let those things hold me down. It's just one of those things to where it's like, okay, like mentioning before, like there's always opportunity. Just because there's bad in the world doesn't mean there's no good. It's just so, okay, I kind of think there is some kind of correction, but, maybe it will stave off, and it's like, as they put it, with the dude I listen to, like maybe there is a soft landing, like it's still highly doubted in a lot of ways, but, like we may stabilize for a little while, who knows? It's just, at the very least, the world's calmed down to some degree. And usually what I use to kind of judge these things, there are still quite a few people losing their jobs, but okay.
I've seen some pretty scary data out there. It's like, yeah, it's looking kind of weird. I think the production data came out today. There's been zero production, and that's not good. So I mean, I definitely think that we could see a recession, but I feel like we've seen one last year, and we kind of trended out of it a little bit, and I think we could trend back into one.
Yeah,
this year.
And they say like the numbers overall are like really good. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Biden's little speech or whatever. He talked about jobs and kind of how people are highly employed at the moment. It's just. And it's like I don't know how you guys feel about like the housing market and stuff like that, but it seems like that's kind of starting to like ramp up a little bit, and everybody keeps saying it's a bubble, you kind of don't really know, and you just kind of have to wonder, like, can it rally again? Can it go forward? Can it like go into the future? And that's kind of where I'm at. This feels like a little bit like limbo to me. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and myself, I mean, like, this is the funny thing is, like, I was talking to this guy that I work with back in, man, it was like a long time ago now. It was like back in like July or something, and he's asking me about the market. And he's like, oh, okay, well, what do you think about blah, 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 blah? And I was like, I think the market's going to turn around September. And that's like initially when we were planning to launch this one thing. And I was like, oh, that's good timing. I think the market's going to start to turn around then. He's like, oh, really? And when you look at the time around September, it's like a pretty bearish time for crypto, but it's also like the bottom. It's like around, it's like that July to September are like the two like bottom like areas. It's like, yeah, that's when the market was like, and ever since then, DXY has been like, like the larger trend has been opposite for the DXY, and the larger trend for the crypto market and assets in general has been up. So like it kind of has hit that. So I'm still in that upward, the trend to me, the trend is your friend until it isn't. So I'm still believing, the trend is still going in the same direction. Again, I mentioned earlier, got stumped out on that short, and probably wouldn't have been the short if I would have paid attention to just like the daily. Like again, and like I saw that, and I was like, man, really shouldn't be going against what the trend is. Like if the trend is in a direction, you don't really want to go against the trend, period. And yeah, sure enough, like his choice was to go with the trend, man, until it's over, until you get a nice confirmation that it's over. So yeah, I will be with this bull train until there's some type of confirmation that it's over. Dipping 10-20% is not confirmation that you're done with the bull climb after you just dipped in the opposite direction 90% or whatever. Nah, fam. You got recovery space. You got space. You got breathing room, and it's just like eating right now. Right now, everything's eating, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe this summer we could see a change up. But I also just read this article about Hong Kong. I was just reading about Hong Kong making like crypto like legally tradable or something like that. Like in I believe it's June. So people were like, "Oh, start the narrative and flywheels about all this new money coming in from Hong Kong and China and stuff, and like all these businesses. I mean, if you're a business in China and you wanted to make sure that you could trade crypto or something like that, well, then Hong Kong is definitely where you move to. Like, yeah, you put it right there. So interesting. We'll see how that turns out too. But if nothing else, the market moves on rumors. So my take. Yeah, that's what we got for you guys today. Thank you for joining us for another Trustless Degens. Unless any of you, my hosts here, have anything else you'd like to say, we can close this thing out.
No, I think we're good.
Guys, thanks for joining us.
Good night.